Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Oldham County Board of Adjustments. Today is October 21st. It is 9 o'clock, and we are now in session. Today we have three cases before us. The procedures for all three cases are going to be the same. Here in a minute, I'm going to swear staff in, and board member Mike Riley down there will read the what's on the docket. Staff is going to give us the staff report, and there'll be a round of questioning by board members to staff. When we're done, staff's going to take a seat, and I'm going to call you, the applicant, forward. Come to the podium and speak directly into the mic. You'll raise your right hand, get sworn in, state your name and address, and justify your project. When you're done, there'll probably be a round of questions by the board to you, the applicant. And when we're done with that, you may take a seat. I'm going to call forward anybody that wishes to speak in favor of the application, and then those opposed. Same procedure. So come forward, speak into the mic, raise your right hand, be sworn in, state your name and address, tell us why you're in favor, tell us why you're opposed. There'll be a round of questioning by board members to that audience as well. When we're done, those members can take a seat. I'm going to open it up for general questions by board members to anybody, anybody in the audience. When we're done, I'm going to close the floor and open it up for general discussion among board members, and then I'll call for an up and down vote. Okay, staff, let's go ahead and swear you in.
I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Very good. Everybody, please make sure your phones are off or on silent. If you need to take the call, just please excuse yourself from the room. Make sure it's off when you come back in. And board members, make sure your mics are on. And with that, Mike, if you want to read the first one.
Chairman, docket OC 21027. An application has been filed requesting a conditional use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental property located at 2297 Findlay Mill Road, LaGrange.
Good morning, Amy Alvey with Oldham County Planning and Development Services. As Mr. Riley stated, this is an application for a conditional use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental property at 2297 Findlay Mill Road. The property is zoned AG1 agricultural and is approximately 1.45 acres. This is an aerial of the property. This is a zoomed out version of it, so you can see the surrounding farm here. And then this is a zoomed in version. You'll see the primary structure here, and then as well as a detached garage. This is the zoning. It shows that the property is zoned AG1, and then across the street, the purple is I2, and you have that to what we'll call the southwest and the south, and then the other adjoining property and surrounding is zoned AG1. This is the area view, just shows hard surfaces. So this is the driveway and the garage, and then this is the primary. There is no previous site history related to this property. So again, the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental. Section 250.050 item A, excuse me, states a non-owner occupied short-term rental is the owner of the property that does not permanently reside in the short-term rental property or in the principal residential unit, which the STRP is located on the same lot. Also, section 250.050 item B2 general provisions states, in zoning districts in which residential uses are a permitted use, including legal non-conforming residential uses, a short-term rental of the dwelling unit that is not the primary residence of the property owner is required to obtain a conditional use permit by the appropriate Board of Adjustments. If granted the CUP, the owner must also comply with the special standards as outlined in the short-term rental property regulations. So basically this is saying if you want to have a short-term rental property and you do not live on the property in either in the primary or in an accessory dwelling unit, then you have to get a conditional use permit. So the from her mother, which is located on the back side of the family farm. The applicant intends to retain the property to have a home to come back to in the event they retire south in the upcoming years. The layout of the home shown on the STRP application indicates 3 bedrooms, therefore would have a maximum guest capacity of 10, and the aerial map shows adequate parking available. So this is the first floor first floor plan that was submitted with the STRP application. You'll see it highlights 3 bedrooms. The applicant does not want to rent the home out on a long-term basis, and the income from the short-term rental would offset the expenses of maintaining the property. And the applicant also resides approximately 2 miles from the subject property. So this is an aerial, or I'm sorry, a picture of the front of the property from at 2297 Findlay Mill Road. This is the south view, so this is across the street. This is Findlay Mill Road here. So you can see it's heavily wooded across the street. This is the west view. This is the east view area. So when you come up the driveway, this is the detached garage. So this is adequate parking area here. This is just a view of the back of the home. You can see there's a patio area. And again, this is your parking area here with a detached garage. These were pictures that were submitted with the application of the interior of the home. So in summary, excuse me, the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental property at 2297 Findlay Mill Road. Proposed conditions of approval is that the conditional use permit shall only apply to the application considered at the October 21st, 2021 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. And also the applicant shall apply for and be issued a short-term rental property before renting the property. That is all that I have, and I will be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Amy. Are there any questions for Amy? Okay, thank you.
Not sure if you're going to ask or not, but I'm sure you will. We did not receive any letters of support or opposition.
All right, thank you. Okay, if we could have the applicant come forward. Good morning.
Good morning.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, but the truth.
I do.
And state your name and address, please.
My name is Robin Willard. I live at 2717 Thompson Road in LaGrange, 2 miles from this property, 2297 Findlay Mill Road.
And can you justify the project or add anything that Amy may not have?
We did a great job. It's just a short-term rental property. We didn't want to do a long-term because we want to come back in the future and stay and live at the property. It's completely surrounded by our family farm, so my aunt and uncle own the property completely surrounding me.
Okay, any questions for Robin? Ms. Willard, you say the family farm surrounds it. I'm assuming that's on all sides. How large is the family farm?
98 acres.
All right, any other questions for Ms. Willard?
I have a question. Is the home on a septic? I'm sure I saw that in the materials.
Yes,
About water.
Oldham County Water.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anybody here wishing to speak in favor of the application? Opposed to the application? Board members, questions for anybody in the audience? I'll close the floor, open it up for discussion. Be cut and dry.
When you have an application as like this one, that's complete, is detailed, and then you have the great work that the staff does for us to put this together, that's why there's no questions. I wish all the applications were like this one. I'm sure more will be. Nothing more to say. This meets all the elements, my opinion, meets all the rules and regulations, so my opinion.
I agree.
All right, very good.
I just want to note something. I believe there's a typo, and I'd like for clarification. On the front page of the document, it says Board of Adjustment Actions. It says short-term rental property located at 4180 Stuart Lane.
Typo, that was my mistake.
No bearing on the application, the approval, or any of that other stuff. So there's nothing's going to get confused later.
It was a cut and paste that didn't quite work out for me on that part.
I don't want something to come up if we make a decision on this that all of a sudden derails this decision one way or the other in the future.
No, it was advertised correctly. Yes, sir.
Okay, ready to take a motion?
I have a motion. I move to approve docket OC 21027 for a conditional use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental property at 2297 Findlay Mill Road in LaGrange. Character and objectives of the proposed use and the potential impacts on the community and surroundings are appropriate. The applicant has testified that the parcel affected is surrounded by a 98-acre owned by the same family. Proposed use will not impair the integrity or character of the community. There are adequate public facilities available. The owner has testified, or the applicant has testified, that there's a septic, Oldham County water, and obviously there's electric to the residents. And the applicant has testified that she resides near the property. That's 2 miles. Conditions of approval shall apply. The conditional use permit would apply only to the application submitted at the October 2021 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. And the applicant shall apply for and be issued a short-term rental property permit before renting the property. That's my motion.
Thank you, Fred. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mike. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? It's been approved. Okay. Mike, you want to read the second, please?
Docket OC 21-028, an application has been filed requesting a conditional use permit for a private event space with parking surface waiver at 4170 Stuart Lane, LaGrange.
Right, me again, Amy Alvey, Oldham County Planning and Development Services. As Mr. Riley stated, this is an application for a conditional use permit for private event space with parking surface waiver at 4170 Stuart Lane. The property is zoned AG1 agricultural and is approximately 10.72 acres. This is an aerial view of the property. You'll see outlined in red, this is Highway 393 to your east, and then this is Stuart Lane that runs back to the surrounding properties. This is a zoomed in version of the existing parcel, and this is the subject. So this shows the existing zoning as AG1. Site history: on February 21st, 1991, the Oldham County Board of Adjustments granted a 300-foot road frontage variance for this subject tract. So again, the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to operate a private event space on the subject 10-acre tract, which is located near the center of a 220-acre farm. The applicant is proposing to use the existing home on the property as an indoor event venue and also have an area on the property to have a tent located for outdoor events as well. According to the business plan that was submitted in the with the application, they are proposing 200 guests maximum capacity. Event hours Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. with amplified music and lighting ending by 9:30. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. amplified music and lighting ending by 10:30 p.m. Restroom trailers will be the preferred waste management receptacle, but their clients will have the option to choose standalone portlets if they so choose. The site plan provided outlines the tent location, parking, and handicap parking areas. Excuse me. So this is the site plan that was submitted by the applicant. You'll see here, this is the area for the handicap parking area. It does have a loop driveway here. This is the proposed tent area, and then this is the parking area that they are looking at, asking for the parking surface waiver to leave it as a natural field for parking rather than making it hard surface and non-dusting. This is just a zoomed in version of the same site plan. According to the applicant's justification statement for the conditional use permit, the private event space will financially enable the applicant to maintain the land and aid in keeping the farm and the family for generations to come. Event space will allow local families a unique and cost-friendly experience. The layout of the land and current structure is well suited for this use and will require minimal infrastructure updates, and being so secluded, the events will not interfere with the adjoining or nearby farms and homes. And also, surrounding land is owned by the applicant's mother and sibling and are in strong support of the application. The applicant has also outlined future development possibilities and timing in their business plan that include an identification sign, passing areas on Stuart Lane, parking area lighting, paved entrance, remodel of the lower level, possible amphitheater-style wedding venue, and a pavilion/barn. So this is also a site plan that was submitted. Again, you'll see this is the proposed structure here. And then this is, again, Highway 393 here, all the way to the far east, and a proposed sign placement there. The applicant is also requesting a parking surface waiver from section 260-340, number 2, which requires roads and parking shall be of non-dusting all-weather type. According to the applicant's justification statement for the waiver for the parking surface, the exceptional hardship would be the hard parking surface on the agricultural property would destroy the topographical grassland of the fields on the farm, and the area used as parking will continue to be used as hay fields between events, as well as allow for rotating parking as needed. So this is the entrance from Highway 393 into Stuart Lane. This is the east view, so this is looking across the street. This is Highway 393 here. This is the north view, so this is going towards Highway 42. This is the south view, so this is going back towards Buckner. This is at the entrance drive going up. This is the existing structure here. This is just another view of the structure. This is a view standing at the front of the house, looking back towards, you can't hardly see, but this is Stuart Lane here. So this is the view from the front of the property. This is just a side view of the home.
Hang on, Amy. We're not seeing it on I'm not seeing it on the monitors.
You see it on yours?
Hey, Mike.
Jay?
Oh, that'll work. We can see the background or the screen. There we go.
Okay. Okay. So this is the side view here. This is the rear. This is a view of where they had talked about anticipating the tent area, and then further down is the parking. This would be more of the parking area here. This is a picture that was provided by the applicants of a view in the evening. This is the interior of the structure. This is an example of the restroom trailers. An example of the tent with tables and seating. Oh, sorry. So this would be just an event area. This is the parking area here. So this again just shows the loop driveway. This is just another overview of it as well. And I do have, after I go through the conditions of approval, I will share the drone video that the applicant submitted. It was too large to email, and it would not let me send it through Dropbox because of the size. So once we go through this, then I'll pause and go through the video as well. So in summary, the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit for private event space with parking surface waiver at 4170 Stuart Lane. Potential conditions of approval for the conditional use permit. The conditional use permit for the private event venue shall only apply to the application considered at the October 21st, 2021 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. Maximum capacity shall be 200. And then I did include the event hours so that can be documented in the certificate of land use if you so choose to approve it. And then the potential conditions of approval for the parking surface waiver is that the parking surface waiver shall only apply to the application considered at the October 21st, 2021 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. This is the video that was provided by the applicant. That is all that I have.
Very good. Thank you, Amy. Questions for Amy?
Amy, this flyover, is that going to be part of the official record?
Yes.
You ever see any drone flyovers in the past?
We've had some for planning commission cases, but nothing, this is the first one that I've had in my career for Board of Adjustments. So
You could bring the slide that has that on there. Thank you. So access to the subject property is off of Stuart Lane, is that correct? And back in whenever it was that they got the 300-foot road frontage variance. So I guess I'm questioning just the access and the other property around it. Does Stuart Lane cut through the property that's adjacent to 393?
Stuart Lane is a one lane that comes off of 393 right here and comes and it serves this property, this property, this property, and the farm.
Very good, thank you.
Mhm.
And I guess this is another case where the property or the building and the infrastructure and all has been built prior to getting the what they need here today.
Repurposing an existing structure. Yes.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, any other questions for Amy? Thank you.
You did receive in the email link for the meeting page, there were 2 letters of support by the property owners here that surround it. So there were 2 letters of support of the application.
Okay, thank you. And if we can have the applicants come forward. Good morning.
solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth,
I do. Hello, I'm Nathan Stewart of 4155 Stewart Lane.
Hi, I'm Channing Bowling, also of 4155 Stuart Lane.
Thank you for taking the time to review our application. Oops, and I just,
Hit the button.
I may be a familiar face as I was here just 2 months ago for a short-term rental application of our cabin on the same property, and basically for the same purpose, to help maintain the land. This house was my father's house. He passed away earlier in the year, and as you can see, it does sit right in the middle of the property, and we would like to maintain that for use of our family and for others to enjoy. So that's why we came up with this proposal. I just wanted to take a minute. I know you all hear a lot of these applications. I don't know if you ever get to see the results, but I want to take a minute to talk about, since we have started our cabin short-term rental, the success of that. We've had it rented almost every weekend. We've had people come from all parts of Kentucky, out of state, as far away as Florida. We keep a guest book in the cabin for the guests to sign, so I just want to quickly read you a few of these. This is under recommended places and things to do: swim at the Oldham County Park, catch frogs at night with flashlight, play games, hike the trails. They were from Mount Vernon, Kentucky. Here's from Memphis, Indiana. Relax, enjoy the peace and quiet, love sitting on the front porch and listening to the birds and frogs. We ate at Gustavo's Mexican Grill, and it was delicious. Here's some more. We ate at Bully's Barbecue, a must. Kentucky Derby Museum, a great tour. We really enjoyed the cabin and hope to come again. And just one more. We visited the baby goats at the farm. We enjoyed the place. Peace and quiet. We will be back. Loved our time at the little cabin in the woods. Nathan and Channing are so kind and courteous. So just want to take a second to show you that's really working out well for us and the county and surrounding areas. So, okay. So back on the subject, you probably remember a lot of the details. I'll try to go through those quickly. I was born and raised in Oldham County, lived here most of my life. I did not grow up on the farm, but we've had it in our family. My parents bought it in 1970, and we've used it since then for all kinds of outdoor activities. Also had cattle and tobacco plot and tobacco barns on it, and is currently an active tree farm that we manage through the Kentucky Forestry Division. My mother currently owns the farm, as my father has passed away. And we now solely own the subject property for this, and our primary residence is on the property as well as the cabin that we mentioned. And so we came up with this as another venture to help us keep the farm, maintain the farm, and this house as well, without having to sell it off right in the middle of our farm. I know I reviewed last time, and everyone here knows the expenses of keeping a property, even if it's not real active, with the roads and the trails and taxes and insurance. So we wanted to provide an event space rental for this location. I believe it's very desirable. There's not a person that pulls up to that house or property that doesn't say, wow, or is this the clubhouse or something like that. And it does sit on 10 acres, surrounded by the hayfields, as you saw, and overlooks the neighboring farms. The other property it adjoins is my sister's, and that's one of the letters Amy got in support for that as well. That's the only other property besides the farm that it directly adjoins. So, and also, you may recall, I talked about last time, Channing and I began a small hobby farm out on the property where we breed and raise goats. We produce cheese and soap. Recently become Kentucky Proud members for the soap that we create there from the goat's milk. And we also sell chicken eggs and have festivals and events. And we have a fall festival coming up this coming Saturday. So come on out from 11 to 3 and see the place. And I'm going to let Channing talk a little bit more about the plan for the event center itself.
Hi, I'm Channing, and I am Nathan's co-conspirator or co-captain in this adventure. So I also grew up in Oldham County, and I am a teacher. I teach at North Oldham High School. This is my 12th year in education, my 5th at North. And I grew up riding horses and went to Oldham County High School, middle school, and I love this county, and we've been really blessed to become stewards of this farm. And so our whole goal was to provide a unique and beautiful space for people to hold family events or weddings, receptions, what needs you. And I'm sure you're aware, but just in case you aren't, farm-based wedding venues are currently like the third most popular trend sweeping the nation. And we have several large-scale farm-based venues in Oldham County, but there's a need for a smaller scale, more affordable option, and we aim to provide that. And the beauty of our idea or business plan is that we are working from a blank canvas model. So we have this beautiful mid-century modern house designed by Nathan's brother, Johnny Stuart, who is an architect here in LaGrange, and our clients would have the opportunity to utilize that structure. They can use it to prepare for their wedding. They can have small parties inside, or they can choose to use the area outside as well, or they can choose to just use the fields for their reception or their wedding. We have a beautiful spot in the woods, as you saw in the pictures, for small weddings. So it's really beautiful, or they can do a combination of both. But the idea is that they can sort of curate an experience that fits their style, their needs, and their budgetary guidelines that they have to operate on. So we wanted to make a beautiful place more accessible and promote our farm and just kind of connect people back to what Oldham County has to offer. So we are utilizing the current structure, and we're calling it the Lawyer's Overlook because it is Nathan's dad's house, and his dad was a really successful labor lawyer here, and his dad was really, really proud of his land. So he would go outside every day and kind of look at his overlook his property, and he was just so proud of his farm and very proud of what Nathan had done. So we are hoping to carry on his legacy and honor him in the work that we do and keep the farm in our family. That's our goal.
Okay, great.
Excuse me. I will mention in the pictures you saw the restroom trailer and the tent in this picture. We hosted a non-paid event for a family member, a wedding. So that was the seating in the woods and the tent, and set up kind of as a trial run just for friends. So that was very, very successful.
Yes,
So.
it worked well.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. Questions? I've got a few. Oh, go ahead.
Question. I noticed that you want to keep the parking area of natural surface, okay? Automobiles and trucks and so forth have catalytic converters and been around for many, many years, and they get extremely hot. Do you have a plan about keeping that grass at such a so level that it doesn't reach up to the body of those vehicles?
So I do. I know in these pictures, I don't know if I can, it'd be, I don't know, let's see, which order, sorry.
Once again, I'm sorry. Once again, our monitors, we're not seeing the PowerPoint. There we go. Thank you.
One of them, yeah, and this, I don't know if you can see it at all, but that parking area is mowed as low as the lawn, and like for our festival this coming weekend, we've mowed the rest of that where the vehicles will be parked, and we have parking attendants, and they're instructed not to drive over the hay that has not been cut. But yes, we try to cut that down to like a normal lawn level where the parking will be.
Good. Also, on this 220 acres, how many separate parcels are on that 220 acres?
Well, the 220 is all one parcel, or well, it's two tracts, but one parcel. The complete property was 263 acres. So if you talk about that complete property, then there's the 220, There, our house, I think there's 5. Our house, the cabin, this property, my sister's, and 1 house up front. So there's 5 separate tract properties within the 260 acres.
Well, does your property run all the way to the creek?
Harrods Creek is, the middle of the creek is the border for the property.
Very much.
If we can go back to the PowerPoint and if you can find one of the shots of the house or that's fine. That one right there. So just so I'm clear, that was an existing house that has been converted to just repurposed for the clubhouse, or
No, that's my father's residence, built in 1997, if you can believe it. And so, yeah, we have just been just painting and, redoing bathrooms and just light remodeling, but we have not changed the structure or added anything at all.
okay, fantastic. And you said the picture of the wedding we saw. You said it, and I just want to reiterate that was a trial run of a wedding for a member of the family member. Yeah. Okay.
Fran, yes.
What about? Can you talk about the light? Well, I guess the conditions that Amy spoke of, as far as the times, Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. with amplified sound and lighting ending by 9:30 p.m. And then Friday, Saturday, it goes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. with amplified sound ending at 10:30 p.m. Are you okay with those?
Yes, yeah, that was from our business plan.
For sure.
Can you tell me a little bit more about or is there going to be any additional lighting and signage and advertising? Are you considering a sign out in front of 393 or Stuart Lane or?
Yes, we have proposed a sign, I think, like
On the
4 foot by 4 foot on the fence. It sits approximately 20 foot back from 393. We have a black horse fence that for the entrance, and we propose for a sign there.
It'd be on the fence, not
Yeah,
freestanding.
on the fence, and
About lighting the sign.
we no lighting of the sign. I have looked at the solar powered street lights they have for putting one down at the entrance, but that's all as far as lighting that we've even considered there. And then about what else? Oh, forgot what the last part of your question.
Advertising, but
Advertising.
yeah, mainly talking about the signage, but
Okay.
you can speak to the advertising.
Yeah, advertising, we just have some marketing strategy, and it's mostly with our short-term rental cabin. We have not joined any of the online sites like VRBO or Airbnb, whatever those sites are. It's word of mouth, and we've had more than just from Facebook advertising.
It's fantastic.
Many sites, and have had a lot of success. And so that's a lot. For marketing, some of our ideas were like touroldhamcounty.com, theknot.com, Facebook, a lot of online and social media, and creating relationships with vendors and planners in the area. So that's most of our advertising plan.
The closest residence to the proposed site, what's the distance? Give me a ballpark.
It's, I can, on here, oh yeah, if you can't see the monitor, but, so, I don't know if you can see that to your right in the front was my sister's house, like right under the Stuart there, Stuart Lane kind of. So she has 6 acres and the red is 10. So I have not done a distance, but
Farm, right?
Yeah.
And a residence that's not part of the farm property?
That was going to be my follow-up. So, but just your sister's property is at least 6 acres away. Is that correct? Okay, and not on the farm, where's the closest residence?
It would be, Findlay has a house, lit here.
And an approximate, whether acreage or distance? Can you give me a guesstimate?
Well, I know his farm's a couple hundred acres, but distant, let's see. Yeah, that's probably, well, at least 10 acres away. Because if you took the red and turned it, it wouldn't even hit it.
Okay.
So yes.
Greater than 10.
Yeah.
There is a wooded buffer. There are woods.
I was going to say the part of the record was the drone flyover, and that showed, very clearly the distance. So
So the lighting for any event isn't going to have any impact on neighboring properties.
No, wedding, the prior wedding, all the lighting that was inside the tent, or we just had string lighting about 7 feet hung up for a little outdoor area with some chairs and picnic tables. So yeah, you can't even, from that property, the views, except for maybe across 393, down the valley and uphill, you can't even see another property or house from there.
okay, any other questions? All right, very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I know we had in the packet a couple of letters of approval. Do we have anybody here in the audience that wishes to speak of approval of the application? Opposed to the application? Board members, any questions for anybody? Any final words before I close the floor? All good? Okay, I'll close the floor for public hearing, open it up for general discussion.
Excellent package. Very detailed, very informative. I was impressed.
I too agree that the application was very, very thorough. I think it meets all the rules and regulations. And I see this as a application that should be approved.
All righty, I'm ready to take a motion.
Motion to approve docket OC 21-028 for a conditional use permit for a private event space located at 4170 Stuart Lane, LaGrange, Kentucky, because it would financially enable the applicant to maintain the land and will aid in keeping the family-operated farm for future generations. In addition, the applicant's plan is to preserve the character and national beauty while minimizing any impact on neighbors in the surrounding area. Additional application support as follows. It fully supports the Oldham County Comprehensive Plan Objective LU 1-4. The character and objectives of the existing structures and the impact on the community are appropriate. Conditions of approval. The conditional use permit for the private event venue shall only apply to the application considered at the October 21, 2021 Oldham County Board of Adjustments and public hearing. Number 2, maximum capacity should be 200. Number 3, event days and hours of operation shall be Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. with amplified sound and lighting ending by 9:30 p.m. B, Friday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. with amplified sound and lighting ending by 10:30 p.m. Number 4, appropriate gravel areas to allow passing for vehicles. Number 5, there should be no exterior lighting trespassing onto adjoining properties. And number 6, any outside signage shall meet the current Oldham County sign regulations. That is my motion.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's right. We need a second one here in a minute, but do we have a second for this motion?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, that one's been approved. And I need a motion for the parking.
I have a motion to approve for docket OC 21-028, motion to approve a parking surface waiver for 4170 Stuart Lane in LaGrange, Kentucky, because a hard parking surface on this agricultural property would destroy the topographical grassland of the fields on the farm. In addition, the applicant wishes to maintain the land in its current state as much as possible in order for it to be used as agricultural manner. Conditions of approval. The parking surface waiver for the private event venue shall only apply to the application considered at the October 21st, 2021 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Can I get a second? Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? It's been approved. Okay. And Mike, if you'd like to read the last one, please.
Docket OC 21-029, an application has been filed requesting road frontage variances for proposed lots located at 6004 Summit View Lane, Crestwood.
Riley. My name is Tom McIntyre, Oldham County Planning and Development. For you today is an application requesting road frontage variances for proposed lots located at 6004 Summit View Lane in Crestwood. It is zoned AG1 and it's 5.0 acres. Here we have the aerial followed by the pavement. And here's your zoning map. So as you can see, north, south, east, and west, it is all AG1, with a little bit of CO1 on the western side. The applicant is requesting road frontage variances to create two tracts from one existing tract. The required road frontage for property zoned AG1, 2.5 acres and larger is 300 feet. The existing 5-acre tract has approximately 363 feet of frontage. Therefore, any division of the property will require a variance. The applicant is requesting to create two tracts from one. Tract 1 will be 2.5 acres with 164.9 feet of frontage. The second will be 2.5 acres with 198.1 feet of frontage. Per the applicant's justification, existing residence and barn are located on the west side of the property, making a division difficult or impossible. It appears the original owner intended to divide the property when the residence was constructed. Dividing the property into two equal 2.5 acre tracts would adhere to the Findlay Farm Section 2 subdivision regulations if approved. When Findlay Farms was developed as a 5-acre lot development, the State of Kentucky Health Department led the creation without a perk test. The theory was somewhere on the 5-acre tract. Hard to read with these divisions things. The theory was that somewhere on the 5-acre tract, a standard system, lagoon, or spray system could be installed. Modern day technology provides us with many options for septic sanitary treatment and dispersal, making the creation of these 2.5 acre tracts a viable option. There are numerous cases in Findlay Farms where the original lots have been subdivided to create additional lots, building sites of 2.5 acres or more, naming lot 1, 12, 15, 20, 39, 46, and 55. The division of lot 48 will create an additional building site of 2.5 acres that utilizes existing infrastructure and will maintain the character of the neighborhood. This complies with land use 1-3 of the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan. So here we have tract 1 in orange and tract 2 in green. As you can see down here, here's the existing residence. Here's said existing residence. So here's tract 2 in green, tract 1 in the orange. Here we have orange again. This is just a Kentucky full-board fence. If you look closer, you can see these property stakes from the surveyor. So that's where I got a lot of these. Forgot where the corners were for these graphics. So again, here's just a 2.5 acre tract all the way down. Here we are looking west down Summit View Lane. Here's a property. If you look down here at the bottom right, you can see looking into this existing property, 6003 Summit View Lane. Here we are looking east, so up the hill. There's a new residence being constructed, 6005 Summit View Lane. Again, the applicant's requesting road frontage variances for tract 1. Required road frontage is 300 feet. the requested road frontage is 164.9. The variance request is 135.1. For track 2, required road frontage is 300. Requested road frontage is 198.1, therefore the variance request is 101.9. For potential conditions of approval, a minor plat application and survey must be submitted to staff for review and approval prior to the issuance of any building permits. And the variance shall only apply to the application considered at the October 21st, 2021 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. And just for clarity, with number 1, the surveyor had submitted a minor plat application. Once that application was submitted, it was determined that it did need a variance. So we do have that, and it is in staff's, I have it in my office. So pending approval, number 1 will be taken care of. And then as far as letters of concern or approval, we don't have any of those. So nothing was submitted.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Questions for Tom? Okay, thank you.
Oh, come on.
Morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barry Baxter, 117 West Main Street. I am an attorney. I represent the applicant, and actually, there's 2 things. One is Tom has done an excellent job as always, so it makes it my job very easy. There's not a whole lot for me to say. And number 2, since this is technical in nature, I'm going to ask Bob Vincent, our engineer, to come up and just talk generally about what we're planning on doing, and then we'll be able to answer any questions you might have. And Mr. Vincent, if you'd stand up and be sworn, please.
Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
And if you can come to the podium, please.
I'm Bob Vincent with Vincent Engineering and Land Surveying, 1000 Cherrywood Place, Suite 200, LaGrange. Before I start, I hate to say this, but I want to make sure I get this into the record. The first item on the justification statement, Tom, and what you had written up there, you said that the existing residence and barn were located on the west side of the property, making the division difficult. And that's not the case. The residence and the barn are located on the west side of the property, making a possible division not difficult. And it's just a misinterpretation, but
I caught that.
that was in the record. What we've got here is it's an existing 5-acre tract with an existing residence. The applicant is hoping to be able to get a variance where he can divide it into 2 pieces. They do intend on building another residence on tract 1. This is one of these cases where the zoning reg is really tough. If you have a tract that is exactly 2.5 acres or less, or I'm sorry, 2.5 acres or more, you have to have 300 feet of road frontage. If you have a tract that is 2.499999 acres or less, you only need 150 feet of road frontage. So there's a big difference between the 2. And so that's why we're here today. We're just asking for a variance on those 2 tracts in order to be able to create this. Again, if the house wasn't located where it is, we wouldn't be here because it would be, logistically impossible to divide the lot. But this is one of those lots where, since the house is located, in this case to the west, that we could do a possible division. I did also want to mention real quick, in the subdivision restrictions, it does allow for the division of property in tracts that go down to at least 2.5 acres. So as long as it's at least 2.5 acres, which is what we're creating, the subdivision restrictions allow it. That's really all we got to say.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, board member, questions for the applicant?
Yes. I don't know to whom this I should ask, but is the existing structure serviced by an on-site septic system?
Yes, it is.
And have you confirmed the location of the existing system? Is it going to be across the property line of the proposed division?
We have confirmed it, and it is on the existing tract with the existing house. So it's not across the line.
All right, so that's already been dealt with then. Okay. I had another one in there, but I've lost it for the moment. If it comes back up, I'll
Okay.
bring it back up. Oh, I know what it was. Thank you. uh, staff, have we received any letters in support or opposition of this proposal?
No, sir, we have not.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, nobody here speaking in favor or opposed to the application. Board members, questions for staff or anybody else? Final words, final statements?
Requesting the two variances be granted as it relates to both lots. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Okay, I will close the floor for public hearing, open it up for discussion.
This is another application, Mr. Chairman, where it's, meets all the criteria that we're looking for. Well put together, and staff, again, did another excellent job. So we ought to go forward on it. I would approve it.
I think given their testimony, the only concern that I had was addressed regarding the septic system, and they've answered that to, I wouldn't have a problem with this based as the way it's submitted.
All right, very good. Anything else? If not, I'm ready for a motion.
Motion to approve road frontage variances for two lots located at 60-4 Summit View Lane in Crestwood. Specifically, a variance of 135.10 feet for tract 1 and a variance of 101.9 feet for tract 2. Because the requested variance is not an unreasonable circumvention of the zoning regulations, but a strict application of the road frontage requirement would deprive the applicant of reasonable single-family use of the property. Variances requested will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare and will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity. Given the fact that there are a number of subdivided lots within the Fibble Farm subdivision that are less than 2.5 acres with less than 300 feet of road frontage. Conditions of approval, a minor plat application and survey must be submitted to staff for review and approval prior to the issuance of any building permits. And the variances shall apply only to the application considered at the October 2021 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. And that's my motion.
Thank you, Fred. Do I have a second? Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Been approved. Please do. Thank you, guys. Okay, we have minutes. Do we have any further adjustments to minutes?
I don't think so.
Exactly. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes? Can I get it? Thank you. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes approved. Other business.
Filing deadline is next Wednesday. We have already received one application, so we will have a November meeting.
Yeah.
But as always, we will send the agenda out once we have set it the 1st of November.
So you sent the training hours a couple weeks ago. Is anybody, and myself included, is anybody in jeopardy of not having their hours by this December? Because I know it's every 2 years.
The information out, I haven't analyzed to see who's on what cycle, because not everyone is on the same cycle of the year. So if you look at the email, it'll tell you what your expiration date is for that 8 hours. So
Encourage everybody to look at that, myself included. Anything else?
Yeah, I've been keeping a record of my self-study, most of which is trying to learn the job. And I know that Jim and Amy have difference of opinion, but that this should be submitted and considered by the board. So I have a handout for everyone to take a look at and see what you think. Obviously, training for myself in the future would be more along traditional lines, but I felt I needed to spend the time to learn the job, having no experience with zoning or county regulations. I'm gonna tell you, when I first came on the board, Mike Riley handed me a pile of paper like yay thick of all the cases from 2019 and 2018 for me to review, and I
True.
read just about every one of them to try to figure out what the board considers and how things are deliberated and motions are made, etc. Very educational.
Yeah, that's great.
Obviously, lawyers keep track of their hours.
Are you proposing approval from the board to accept these as training hours?
So moved.
Do we have that authority, Larry?
Yeah, that's, Jim, do you want to?
55 doesn't specifically say which type of training you can have or should have. It has been general, obviously, if we do some kind of training, we give everybody the hours that were there. You don't have to vote on it. But if there's outside training that somebody does, it's up to the board to decide whether or not it's appropriate and should be accepted as training. And quite honestly, nobody has ever checked us.
Well, yeah, very good. Thank you. While nobody has checked it, I mean, I totally trust the board, every member of the board here to be forthcoming and honest. And so while it's something that, that we can't go back and check, I also would agree that that we should accept this as training hours. And that's great that you've documented it. I guess without the documentation, it'd be much more difficult for us to approve or even consider it. So,
Jim told me at the outset that I had to have some record. So being used to keeping track of my hours, this was easy.
We use, I'm sitting here and just, the light came on. I think it's that time of the month, the light came on for me. We take training, but really it's an education. And there's different venues for education. One is reading, one's going to a seminar, one can go to a video, one can sit in the classroom. So it's just not locked into the word training. I think it's exposure to further education to better do the job. So right off the cuff, I think this is fine. I approve this in a minute.
similar to what you just said, the board, Mike, I don't know if you've been, were on the board, but we actually went to a different county and we sat in and watched their board of adjustments, and that was Rob's. Okay, that's exactly right. So board members, anything that you all can think of, as far as that can be used for training, please do so. That's fantastic. Fred, I believe you just made the motion for to accept 10. Do we round this up 9.97? Just round it up to 10? Is that or? Yeah, right.
Be done in quarter of hours, just for future.
Round up or round down?
I'm more than happy to resubmit with everything rounded appropriately if you wish, just for the record. I'd round down.
Okay.
Hours.
Yeah, I mean, 9.97, I would suggest 10 hours. Fred, I guess, give me another motion with a quarter hour increment.
It should be somebody else.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right, very good, very good. All right, I'm ready to take a motion. Make it on the quarter hour, whether it's 10 or 9:45.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 10 training hours for member Fred Burr, based upon his testimony and also based upon the detailed information that he has tracked and presented to this board today. That's my motion.
All right. Thank you, Ron. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Abstaining.
Very good. Thank you, Fred. Those opposed? Been approved. Okay, any other business?
Well, I'd like to say one thing. I couldn't say this when the fellow with the event, but his closest neighbor's me.
Early.
Yeah. Well, off property. I live in the reserve of Deerfield. When you're going southbound on 393, the first property you run into other than that one and a field is my subdivision. So I'm very familiar with that area. So he's out in the country. That's what we call the country.
Yeah. Any other business? I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Meeting adjourned. Jay, you may.